What's going on, guys? It's DigiWatch TCG coming to you with another deck profile. And today, we're not going to do a deck profile from me. We're going to do one from Rob that's sitting across from me over here. Rob just finished a very long day at the Gen Con Online Regional, and luckily he took 14th place with Shinegreymon. And Rob, if you'd like to introduce yourself, you can introduce yourself, tell them about the deck and the matchups you had, and then we'll get into the deck profile.
It certainly was a long day, Alex. What's good, YouTube? My name is Rob. We just finished a very long day, just like Alex said. It was 7 rounds. I was playing Shine Gray with my tournament today. We played 7 rounds, like I said, and my record was 5-1-1. I'm going to go into the rounds first, and then we'll discuss more about the deck profile. First round was Blue Flare, which I was able to scoop up 2-0. Second round was Black War Gray X Antibody, which was the draw. I definitely would have had the round if we didn't go to time. If I had just another 60 seconds, I had game on board. But unfortunately, time ran out, and we had to call it a draw. Next, third round was All Force, which I was able to scoop up 2-0. After that was Royal Knights, which I was able to scoop up another 2-0. Then the next 2 rounds were both Hunters back-to-back. So the first Hunters round, I was able to do it as 2-1. And the second Hunters round, I was able to scoop it up 2-0. The very last round was the 1 round loss, which was Red Hybrid 0-2.
All right, so take us away, and I have a few questions, but we'll hold that to the end. But definitely go through a couple of the choices that you made, and if there's anything that you'd like to change, we'll talk about at the end. So go ahead.
Sounds good. So my Shine Gray, you can definitely build it as either red or yellow based. I chose in the end yellow based. So with that yellow base, we are playing the Digichamas as the 4 Koromon from BT12. I definitely prefer this over the red build because of the DP reduction. So on your turn, when one of your yellow or red tamers becomes suspended, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1,000 DP for the turn, which definitely can very handy, very clutch in a lot of situations. Then we're going to go into our level 3s, which I play actually a staggering 14 rookies. So we are playing, I'll pull them off first. I will start off by playing the BT12 Agumon. There's 4 of them. Then we have 2 EX4 Agumons. Then we have 4 BT13 Agumons. And then one of my tech of choice was 4 Kudamons from BT13. Now, we'll go each in order. Agumon, BT13. It was definitely good as the third. There are top 4 cards on play to reveal a Greymon and a Tamer. Add those 2 to your hand. And the inheritable of minus 2,000 when one of your Tamers becomes suspended. Then we had the EX4 Agumon, which started your main phase. If you had a yellow or red Tamer in the back, you gained 1 memory just automatically, which was good to recycle, basically pulling out your Marcuses for free. Then we had the BT13 Agumon, which is good to have just a free of getting your Marcus out. Either the 5 cost or the 4 cost, doesn't matter. As long as the Marcus Damon comes out for free during your phase, any point during your phase, not the start, any point. And you were able to just pull out your Marcus to clutch it out. And my Kudamons was basically kind of a budget version of these Agumons. For the Kudamons, if you guys don't know, on play, you reveal top 3 cards, add 1 yellow or red. I think it's, let me see. 1 yellow Digimon and with vaccine in the tree, and 1 yellow Tamer card among them. And literally every Digimon in this deck, including the Kudamon, is a vaccine type. So literally, out of the 50 cards, there's only 2 cards that I could not pick up just because of the Kudamon, and that came in clutch. So those are our rookies. Then we play our level 4s, which I play 11 of. A little bit about a number, but it is 11. So we'll start out with the Geo Grays. It is from BT12. I played 4 of them in my deck. Then you got 3 of the Geograys from EX4, and then you have 4 of the BT13 Geograys. We'll go in order. We'll start with the BT12 Geograys. On Digivolve, what I sometimes like to have done is to have the Agumon on play, and then take the Marcus, and then be able to Digivolve right on top of it for the 2, just to play that Marcus from the hand. Then we have the Geo Gray that's, oh, I'm sorry, also the inheritable of the Geo Gray is minus 2,000 when a tamer comes suspended, just like the Agumon from BT12. Then we have the Geo Gray from EX4, which the 3 of them all have the same effect on start of your main phase, the same as the EX4 Agumon, which gains you 1 memory at the start of your main phase when you have a yellow or red tamer in play. Then the Geo Gray, which I also like to call the Gamble Greymon, which lets you search your security on Digivolve to be able to mark it from your security and then recover 1. So with that, it's always good to have the Marcus be able to swing and then bring it to the top of your security, and then eventually Digivolve on top of a Agumon or a Kudamon to this Geo Gray to ensure that you pull the Marcus. If not, you gamble and you hope for the best that there's a Marcus in security. So those are our level 4s. Up next is our level 5s. I play 8 of those. And we have here Rise Grays. We have 4 BT13 Rise Grays and 2 of the BT9 Rise Gray X antibodies. So we'll go in order. With this one on Digivolve, you get to recover 1 memory if you have a tamer, yellow or red tamer in play. Or actually, excuse me, with Marcus Damon, yellow or red tamer, excuse me, yellow or red tamer in play, you get the 1 memory. So this eventually essentially Digivolves for 2 if you have the Marcus in play, if you hard Digivolve it, or you just recover 1 if you Digivolve the Marcus effect on the swing. Then we have the BT13 Rise Greymons, which on Digivolve, you get to play a Marcus for free from hand. Doesn't matter if it's the 4 cost or the 5 cost or the older Marcus, it is just for free. Both of these have the same second effect and the inheritable, which is all for the main effect. If for this one specifically, it's your turn once per turn. When a Marcus would get deleted, you get to put a Marcus from your trash and put it on top of your security. And this one is specifically all turns. If your Marcus gets deleted, you can bring 1 to the top of your security, and both are inheritables on all turns. The same thing. If a Marcus gets deleted, you get covered to security. And the Rise Gray X antibody, you can literally either Digivolve into from the Geo Grays for the full 4, or you can Digivolve it on top of one of the Rise Greymons. And when you Digivolve it in general, you get to play a tamer from hand. Specifically, if you Digivolve it on top of the Rise Greymon, you get to do minus 2,000 to one of your opponent's Digimon per tamer. So if you have a bunch of tamers lined up, you could do a bunch of damage like all together. And also during your turn, this Digimon gets 1,000 per tamer. So that takes care of our level 5s. And then up next is our level 6s. We only play 4 level 6s. And it is 2 of the BT12 Shine Grays and 2 of the BT13 Shine Grays. This one generically is definitely good for when you're more aggro. This one is good for more defense. For this one, you Digivolve on top of your Rise Gray, and one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP per tamer. Also, you get that. You get the second effect, which is your Marcus gets plus 3,000 and secret attack plus 1. And that's for your turn specifically. And on Digivolve, your opponent's security is 3,000 per tamer. So I once had 3 or 4 tamers lined up, and that's minus 9 to 12 DP onto one of their Digimon and to their security. Then you have the BT13 Rise Greymon, or excuse me, Shine Greymon. And this one on play, on Digivolve and starting your main phase, you can bring out a Marcus from your play area and play as a 3,000 DP Digimon with blocker. And all turns, when one of your Marcuses gets suspended, minus 6,000 to one of your opponent's Digimons. So let's say also you get it from your security, the 5 cost one. You can suspend it on your opponent's turn and minus 3K and minus K to that. So it's a total of minus 9,000, which definitely came in very clutch. Then we play 3 level 7s. We play one Shine Gray Ruin mode, and then we play two Shine Gray Burst modes. Shine Gray Ruin mode definitely came in clutch at a couple of points during the game for DP reduction, where I would swing with the Marcus, I would Digivolve on top of the this Rise Gray specifically, because when you swing with the Marcus, either if it's a 5 cost or the 4 cost, you're ensuring at least 6,000 DP reduction. Then you can activate this DP reduction effect and then activate this effect to Digivolve on top of it, if it's the 4 cost one, to Ruin mode. And on Digivolve, minus 5,000 blanket effect to your whole opponent's board. And that's also not just when Digivolve, but on deletion as well. There was one point in one of the games where I would swing into the Shine Gray Ruin mode because at the end of attack, it does get deleted and you recover one from your deck and you get to hatch an egg. So when this gets deleted, since it was the same turn, it's a blanket effect of minus 10,000 to your whole opponent's whole board until the end of their next turn. So we had that, and then we had the Shinegreymon burst modes that we could digivolve into. We just take a Marcus back to hand, and we digivolve this for free. I usually like to do this as like an end sort of state sort of situation when there's one security left, specifically one. Mainly because on Digivolve you get to play a Marcus from hand for free as a 12,000 DP Digimon with Rush. Then when you swing with that Marcus, you burn the top card of their security, and then it attacks. So if they have one, you burn the one, and then you just swing it as the game. That definitely comes in as more of like an end game sort of situation. Then we have our tamers. We play 8 of them. We have 4 of the 5 cost Marcus from BT13, and then we have 4 of the 4 cost Marcus from BT12. I would say 4 and 4 is definitely uh, the minimum you need. You definitely need 4 of each, mainly because of their effects. We'll go each over effects. So for this Marcus, it is the memory setter. When you're 2 or less, you just automatically go to 3. And this card on play, you can suspend it to gain a memory if you have a Digimon named Agumon or Greymon in the name, and minus 3,000 DP to one of your opponent's Digimon. We have that, and then this Marcus is the one that helps you Digiball for free. You can bring it out from your play area for a cost of 1, or like we talked about before, if you have the BT13 Agumon, which lets you bring it out for free, that's even better. There were some points in the game where I had the memory setter one and the Marcus. I was able to play basically either A, I had the BT13 Agumon, I could just play it for the 3 to bring me to 0. And then with the main phase effect, I can just bring a Marcus out for no cost. Or you can literally have just your 3, then you have your Agumon, you raise out, you bring this out for 1 cost, and then during your main phase, you could bring out this one or another Marcus for free. So we definitely have like different options when it comes to that. And then we're only playing 2 option cards. One is Yellow Memboost, and the other one is Sunrise Buster, which is limited to 1. Yellow Memboost is just another searcher. You can also gain 2 memory from popping it. If it comes out of security, you basically play it for free. Sunrise Buster is also a good card just to be able to, for 5 costs, drop a tamer. Sometimes what I like to do is drop the 5 cost Marcus, and then it's minus 3,000 to one of your opponent's Digimon per tamer. So if you have a bunch of these lined up and you play this one, you can just minus whatever, and then you can just suspend this on play to further decrease the board and to gain the memory back as well. So if you're at 1 and then you play Sunrise Buster for 4 and they have a memory setter, you can play this Marcus out and do your shenanigans when you're DP reduction and gain the memory, and you pass them on to that 3 that the memory setter gives regardless. So that is my deck profile, and I definitely consider it serving me very well in each of those matchups.
Right. So if would you say was like the worst matchup and your best matchup in terms of who you faced? Like, what one did you have the most trouble with, and which one do you feel like you got a kind of a quick 2-0 of?
There was definitely a couple that were difficult. I would say Black War Gray X Antibody definitely was tough because you had effects that would DG evolve your stack. You can't be DP reduced. Also, you had options that can not only options, but Black War Gray itself can delete tamers by itself. They can also delete Digimon, be able to retain. It can burn security. It's definitely a crazy build. Luckily enough, my guy was only able to have like one Blackboard Gray extended body general, and then with technical time building back up in the back. I would say also Royal Knights can be a difficult matchup. I think I got lucky because I would say both of my matches, the guy bricked a lot. One of the matches he played Omnimon, I felt like too early. He had four bodies, and with all the effects and all that sort of stuff, I had literally seven securities that he had to go through. One and I had to basically strategize to basically get rid of his guys, especially the Lord Nightmon, because when you're swinging, you lose memory based on the amount of Royal Knights that are on board. You also had stuff that you had to deal with, like the one Royal Knight that gives all the Royal Knights blockers. That was definitely a tough matchup. I definitely had to use Ruin mode for that. That was definitely a crazy matchup. Obviously, Red Hybrid, the one we lost to, was a difficult thing to do because their deck was just a lot faster, and I felt like sometimes I gave them maybe too much memory, even though they had the memory setter to three, and they had just security plus one option cards that just costed one. And things like Gravity Crusher and all that just to get themselves more memory and then pass me to one. And then on the end of their turn, even if I had the memory setter, their effect goes off first, which gives me two, which gives me go back to three anyway. Hunters was, I would say it's a 50-50 between Hunters because if you get Arrested Drew on Superior mode, and it definitely depends on how they, bottom deck or not bottom deck, put one of the sources like underneath something else, either if it's a Digimon or a Tamer. Um, Actually, going back to Royal Knights, there was definitely times where he had stuff like Cranium on, which forced me to attack at the end of my turn, and yeah, you had a bunch of different effects you had to go off. But going now back to Red High or Hunters, I was lucky enough that I didn't see any quartz in any of our games or any of the matchups with either one of those games. The main things I had to look out for was Omni Shout and Arrestormon Superior mode, which was things you can DP reduce or you can bottom something under one of your other Digimon or Tamers. So it's definitely a tricky deck to build, but luckily with both matches, I felt like the ones I won, he couldn't get Tamers out fast enough, and I can get it out. Literally in one of the Hunters matchups, I literally won the game in three turns, just three turns, because of all the effects that were going off. I was able to DP reduce things. I was able to security attack plus one with the Marcuses for the Shine Gray. I was able to evolve on top of it, give a blanket effect, and it was just a difficult matchup. And I was able to burst mode for the game for each one. And yeah, I would say definitely the Hunters was my favorite one, and All Force. I would say no offense to the guy, it was definitely like the easiest matchup I felt like because he was breaking a lot. He couldn't get his tamers out fast enough. He was definitely missing a lot of arenas. That would give blocker to the All Force, and when he did get All Force out, he didn't have enough to bounce back to my bigger stack because especially the Marcus Tamers, if they're on during his turn blocker effect, Marcus doesn't have a level. He cannot bounce back Marcus. So I was able to keep the Marcus on field. I had Marcus, Shine Gray, the one to get the blocker ability, and Kudamon. The only thing he could bounce back was a level 5 or lower. Marcus didn't have a level. He can only bounce back to Kudamon, which gave me another certain. Yeah, I would think like all in all, it was a fun day. It was just a lot of thinking, a lot of flips around, and there's definitely some techie choices in any of these decks, honestly.
Is there anything you would change in the deck, or do you feel like it was like a good ratio for you?
For me personally, like I would like to see one more giant gray BT12 that gives the security +1 just mainly for the aggro. But it's definitely a very tight fit. The main maybe I would take out one of the gamble Geo Grays, the one that searches your security for it. But other than that, I enjoyed it. If you're playing me personally, I like the yellow base mainly for the DP reduction. Nothing wrong with the red base with the Koromon that draws you one. I just felt like, in my personal opinion, I was not really swinging with any of my main bodies. I was mainly letting the Marcus do all the work and letting me Digivolve or DP reduce or whatever. So to that, like if you're playing red base and you're just drawing one, there's really nothing you're doing because you're not swinging with any of the shine grays, mainly until like the end of the game. If you're swinging with the shine, if you're swinging with the Greymon, and you're just getting the draw one, you probably are just bricking in your hand, and you just need to search more sources. But either way, you can't go wrong. It just depends on your matchups and it depends on how you play.
All right. Well, thank you for giving me this amazing deck profile. Congratulations. You got your NAT invite, you got your prizing, and you got your rest from a very long day.
Yes, I think, that's the main thing we needed. But anybody who's playing any regionals, yes, you want to win. Yes, you want to go to nationals. But at the end of the day, just have fun. It's a game. Just have fun with the game. Don't take it too seriously. And yeah, just like have fun with it, no matter with your friends or your people. Just have fun, make some friends, and just enjoy it.
Yep. All right. Thank you. And as always, stay classy.